The Mexican Mafia RICO in Los Angeles, we saw representatives from, dozens of gangs brought together, even though they were warring on the street. Mexican Mafia called them together in parks and ordered them to carry out their edicts in the community. And that was something to see. And in fact, it took me a while to convince many law enforcement officials that such a thing was happening, and that taxation policies of the Mexican Mafia were being enforced on the street. Since they don't normally report this kind of thing to the police, we had to show them, some law enforcement officials, videotape of these meetings and the paying of these taxes in order to convince them.
So unless you're from like Lowell Street, Opal Street, Mafia, and you're not representing as a Sureño or Tiny Rascals, every other Southern California street gang is loyal to the Mexican Mafia.
Yes, and in a lot of ways they would be. They'll put a green light on their neighborhood.
The Mexican Mafia will.
Yeah, they'll get a few associates from every gang and go to their neighborhood and just start getting off on them, shooting. Then they have to pay to get that green light off them. So they more or less got everybody loyal down there out of fear.
And were they a big influence within your community back when you were a youngster?
Yes, they've always been. You've always had one or two brothers from the neighborhood that basically they run the entire neighborhood. All the drug houses, you can't do nothing without them knowing first.
One person's transferring, say going out to court, we'd send him with what we call little huilas, kites, where he'd have them key-shirt or he'd swallow them. So when he transferred, he'd bring them out, hand them over to who he needs to hand them to. The same way goes for on the streets, somebody paroling. We'd send him with the whole roster of who needs to get hit, guidelines, what needs to be done, and he'd carry out those messages. To allow a gang member, like such as our organization, to run something, I mean, that's the biggest thing you could do wrong. You know what I'm saying? From my experience, because now we have control. We're going to say whether you're going to have a good day or not. You know what I mean? Not you. You know what I mean? And it allows us to conduct our activities. If we get a councilman or whatever to come talk with us, that just puts our foot in the door. Yeah, you know what? We'll help out the community. But now, what do we got coming? You know what I'm saying? Now once we got that understanding and we're not getting nothing back, well then you know what? Let's let the community raise a little hell. You know what I'm saying? Basically the same thing, but on a larger scale. So you don't want to do that. Because you really don't have no cops around the neighborhoods and everything. Well, like us, our organization would send people out there, and they'd go out there, they'd put a stop to a lot of the violence that's taking place in that neighborhood. Or say you got a mom and pop store at the corner, and you got people kicking back over there, a lot of gangbangers and stuff. Well, these individuals go there and, hey, get the hell away from here, make it safer for the moms and pop store, they get more clientele. We make the neighborhoods or communities a little safer for parents and their kids to go out there in the streets and play, right? And doing so because these parents and everything, they see this. They see what this individual or individuals are doing. You know what I'm saying? So, they're going to be more cordial to them. They're going to be more accepting of them. Even though they're committing illegal activities, they may not know what. All they're doing is trying to keep the community safe, right? So that way when law enforcement comes through and want to ask them questions about this certain individual, well, they're going to be like, I don't know what you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? Because automatically they're going to think, oh, here comes the cop. What's he want? He coming over here to harass us. You know what I'm saying? And why are we going to get with somebody who's doing